Good afternoon. Okay, let us start. Tell. I don't remember. I don't remember what you are telling. Cost of production. See, ideally, cost of production should exclude, if concept-wise I am explaining you, should exclude the adjustment of finished goods and finished, opening stock of finished goods and closing stock of finished goods. What is the formula? Cost of production plus opening stock of finished goods minus closing stock of finished goods, that is cost of goods sold. So what you can do, cost of goods sold you have found out, and you have got two stocks also, opening stock of finished goods and closing stock of finished goods. So taking these three figures, you can find out cost of production. Getting me? But again, I told you, in the unavailability of cost of production also, you can take COGS, not an issue. Okay. But if you are talking, you think, no, you see, for analysis purpose, many ways figures are taken. But if you want to define me theoretically, cost of production plus opening stock of finished goods less closing stock of finished goods, that is equal to cost of goods sold. So you have got the three figures available with you, cost of production, you can find out comfortably. Are you getting me? Got it or not? So you try it. In cost sheet, you would have studied this thing. Saroj sir would have taught you in cost sheet. So you adopt that formula. Okay. So that cost sheet, whatever sir has taught you, so there you can extract these figures from that equation. Okay. Okay, let us start. Tell. Why you are not getting? Why it is not matching? So you will have to go into individual figures. Then only you can know which figures are to be taken. I'll see it. You do one thing, send your working sheet, take a photograph, or send, if you are dubbed on in Excel sheet, you send it to me, I'll check it. Okay. Okay. Bhaskar? Send me, we'll do it. Okay. Today we'll study capital budgeting. I will share the screen, previous screen, what we have. Can anybody summarize what we have studied in the last 3 classes? 3 or 2 classes? Can anybody summarize? Nobody? Yes, volunteers. I think cash conversion cycle also we have done.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so cash conversion period we have. Let me summarize what we have studied. I have taken 2 classes or 3? 3 classes I have taken for you. So in those 3 classes, what we have studied, we started with the statement of profit and loss and balance sheet. Thereafter, we told that profit is the primary objective of every business. So in order to make profit, companies manage their revenue and they may also manage their cost. Profit comes from statement of profit and loss, and in balance sheet you have got items like non-current liabilities, non-current assets, current liabilities, and current assets. Then we discuss what is this current assets, current liabilities, what is the nature of those things. It is short-term in nature, and individually items are also your receivables, inventory, short-term securities, cash and bank balance. All those things will be there in the current assets. In current liability, you will have trade payable, outstanding expenses, bank overdraft, cash credit limit, all those things will be there. So after discussing this thing, we talked about the different parameters which will explain how good your company is performing. So there we discussed the current ratio, inventory turnover ratio, and asset turnover ratio, your working capital turnover ratio, payable turnover ratio. So all those ratios, they will explain about the working capital management of a company. But this is a balance sheet approach. But the process approach or turnover approach, that will be concentrated on your cash conversion cycle. So we see the time period from the raw material purchase to the time you have received money from the customers. So that period is cash conversion cycle. Shorter the period, better it is. So cash conversion cycle and your different ratios, they provide you a hints about the indication about how your company is performing. Okay. Then we calculated all those ratios and all those and cash conversion cycle for Hindustan Unilever and analyzed individual ratios where the figures may have wrong. How we'll go into deep into individual figures to find out whether things have gone right or wrong. So like that, we finished up working capital management. Okay. So primarily 3 things. One is your concept of working capital policy, aggressive, conservative, and moderate. And then we discussed about the ratios, cash conversion cycle, and calculations and interpretation. Okay. Now today we'll start. Yes.
There are few students in the waiting room. Can you just
Why they are coming so late?
I got informed.
Nobody is there. Only one. Okay. So today we'll start discussing capital budgeting. I'm using the previous sheets now because I want to go a little bit faster. That's why the previous sheets I'm using. I've taught in the other classes. I think we'll start capital budgeting, or this also we have finished?
Yes, sir.
We have finished this thing.
No, sir.
No, sir. Sorry, sir. No.
No, sir.
Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Wait 1 minute. Give me 1 minute time. Okay. So you see, we discussed in the first class that our profit will be derived from the statement of profit and loss. How to derive the profit? Revenue minus expenses. That will give you the profit. Now tell me, if primary focus of the company is profit and the company can get the profit on statement of profit and loss, then figures in the balance sheet, whatever they are there, does any item from this balance sheet, like your equity, reserve and surplus, non-current liabilities, non-current assets, and current assets, does those things contribute anyway to the profit making mechanism or to the production process? Anybody can answer? Are you getting my question? Profit we are getting from the statement of profit and loss. Then this balance sheet item, what way they are contributing? Which one is contributing? Tell. The balance sheet items in terms of your assets and liabilities, how they are contributing to this production process. Anybody can tell? No?
So by
Not a
using those
single.
assets, we are making the production possible.
Tell. Come down to details. Which asset?
So if the production unit, no sir, fixed assets, tangible assets, sir. If it's a
How?
production, the production is done in a building. Building is an asset, tangible asset.
Okay.
We use
fine,
machineries.
fine.
Machineries are tangible assets. Like this thing,
True,
and current
true.
assets are mainly inventories, sir.
I understand. You tell me. Try to establish the relationship. What you told, I understood. What I'm telling you, establish a relationship. You see, in this product, so you see how you are making profit. Whatever your
Yes,
service
sir.
process, your business process will give you the profit. So business process will involve revenue and expenses, and you can find out profit out of them. But I'm asking, out of these items, anyway, any of the items is contributing or anyway directly, indirectly associated with the profit? That is my question. So before doing it, you must earmark that these are long-term
Liability.
assets and liabilities, and these are short-term. Okay. So this is short-term and the other one is long-term. Now how they are contributing? So simple. You see, suppose you are paying in these expenses, I'm talking of expenses, you are paying to employees. How you are paying? Either you are paying
So,
cash.
yes.
Where cash appears?
Asset side of the balance sheet, current assets.
Current assets. Suppose you have not 1 month salary is outstanding with the employees. Where it will appear?
Current liability.
Current liabilities. You sold goods. You receive money. Where it will appear?
Short-term asset, current asset.
Current assets. Are you getting me? So you see, current assets and current liabilities are directly, because you already in working capital management we have discussed all those kinds of inventory, receivable, whatever you talk of, all can be related to your production process, either in terms of expenses or revenue. You relate these things in the day-to-day production process. These items are getting involved. Okay. Now, suppose they get involved in the day-to-day production process. What for this one? This has got any use? Non-current assets and tell?
Yes, sir. By using the non-current assets, we are making the production. We are using machinery and buildings to make the production possible.
So we can say that your non-current assets are
by depreciating our non-current assets, we are using.
Okay, don't go to accounting terms. So non-current assets are the means of generating profit because they provide the platform or they provide a setup or infrastructure to produce. Otherwise, from your raw material stage to the finished good stage, how the product will pass through unless you have machinery? Are you getting me? Whatever it is, you see, if it is a different kind of machinery where you are only transporting goods, then trucks are instrumental in transporting the goods from one to other in a trading company. So these the fixed assets or non-current assets, they are the means of generating profit. They are instrumental in giving business to the organization. True or not?
Yes, sir.
So I put the words platform, setup, infrastructure, all those things you can define for your non-current assets, means of generating profit. Could you get me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now tell me, I put a parallel between these two. I tell non-current assets and current assets. Among them, one is coach, another is player. Which one is player? Which one is coach? Just a metaphor.
Sir, the long-term assets are coach and current assets are player.
Current assets are players. Except Abhik, nobody is responding. So non-current assets are coach.
Yes.
And current assets are players.
Yes.
Which important? Coach or player?
Sir, player.
Important.
Both are important. Both are important.
Most important is player.
Player is more important because they will perform in the field. Okay, I will put the term in a different way. Which has primacy over the others? Primacy, you understand? Which comes first?
Current assets, sir. Current assets.
Is it so?
No,
Any
sir.
other answer?
Intangible assets. Tangible.
Don't go to tangible. It is non-current assets. So non-current assets, they are the primacy over the non-current assets and liabilities. You don't tell only one. Non-current assets and liabilities both have primacy over the current assets, current liabilities. Why? When you start a business, how do you start? You first get the capital. Okay? True or not? You bring the capital, then build the infrastructure. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Recording in progress.
So build the capital, then create the infrastructure, then you start the production. So this way also you see your non-current assets have got primacy over your current assets. Same way non-current liabilities have primacy over your non-current liabilities because they come first. Later on your production process comes. True or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So after in this background, we define the capital budgeting decisions as the viability study of long-term assets. So the way I have defined it, so you can tell in different way also. Capital budgeting budgeting relates to your decisions on long-term assets and liabilities, not liabilities, long-term assets only. Okay. So When we are talking of these long-term assets, then we talk about capital budgeting. If it's short-term assets and liabilities, what you would talk of?
Working capital.
Working capital management. So
Working capital.
capital budgeting is the long-term assets, creation of long-term assets. So now let us see what is the nature of these long-term assets. Tell me. Here, first of all, you understand that this is long-term in nature. There is no second thought about it. Why it is long-term? You construct, you install a machinery. That machinery will work for 20 to 30, 40 years. How many years you don't know? You construct a dam. Dam will be there for a long period of time. You purchase a power plant. It will be there for 15 years. So like the steel plant you construct, so it will be there for 40 years. But when we are talking about working capital management decision, maybe today you have done something, tomorrow you may not do it, like inventory you are having. So tomorrow you will tell, no, I will sell everything in cash, no inventory. Okay, even if I don't have sell. So you can change the things in between. Short term, it is short term in nature. In 1 year, all those things are again encashed into cash, or it is transformed into cash. But here, things is not so easy. You cannot sell the assets immediately. Assets will be there with you, and you will have to carry it for a longer period of time. Okay. Could you get it? Second is, among these two things, working capital decision or capital budgeting decisions, where you can change the decision in between.
In working capital, sir.
Working capital.
Working capital you can change. You have taken a decision today, you can change it. But in this case, it is irreversible. You cannot change it. It will be there forever. Where alternatives are more?
Working capital.
Again, think it and tell. Is it working capital management where your alternatives are more? You see, you have a textile manufacturing company, and you are doing the working capital management. So here, what you will do? You can only think of whether you will allow credit to the customers, whether you will take credit from the suppliers. Because you see, it is fixed. Once you have got a setup, then you will have to only adapt to the setup and try working on it. Now, when you are thinking of a capital budgeting decisions, what you are thinking? Should I go for IT firm? Should I go for textiles? Should I go for power plant? You see, first decision point. Second decision, these are alternatives. Second alternative, should I go for equity? Should I go for debt? How much equity? How much debt? But here what happens in working capital management? Your requirement is your amount of working capital that you should procure. It is not that you are thinking in advance how much is required. Okay, that is one. Then you see, once you suppose you are thinking of a power plant, again you think of 5 megawatt, 10 megawatt, 100 megawatt. Where to start? Should it be in UP? Should it be in Himachal Pradesh? Are you getting me? Where from I will procure funds, procure raw material, whether it should be from Coal India or I should import from Australia. Getting me? So several things will come to picture. So that's why you have got larger number of alternatives in your capital budgeting decisions. So irreversible, long-term, and more alternatives. Where it is complex, which decisions are complex? Somebody should say.
Capital budgeting, sir.
Capital budgeting. Why complex? Because outside world affects more to these decisions. Working capital management is also affected by outside world, but to a great extent, capital budgeting decisions are affected by outside world. Example is, competitors are there. You want to start a plant, so you will have to see Jindal Steel is starting a plant. So they are always thinking that the plant should be automated or should be more modern than your Tata Steel, so that you see product will sell. Your employee cost will be low. Okay, and you can think of innovative products over a period of time. Maintenance will be low. Getting me?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
here you see several outside factors will be. So competitors are also important for you. Government is important. Environmental factors important. Many things are important. Achha, now tell me, which one among these is futuristic and which one is present?
So capital budgeting is
Capital
futuristic.
budgeting is
Capital
futuristic and working capital is
Working capital is present.
So you are thinking of the future only when you are talking of your capital budgeting decisions. So let us see what we have written in the studied in the other classes. So we write capital budgeting decisions are long-term in nature, irreversible, lot of alternatives, and moreover you see large investment because building, machinery, it will involve huge amount of money, and it is complex and it is futuristic. Could you get the characteristics of your capital budgeting decision? Now you understand how important these decisions are. These decisions are quite important for you. Now, so you see in this kind of decision, so you remember one thing, we are always talking of the future. Now you want to suppose install one machinery. For the future, how many years in the future it will be operating? That is your goal. So what you want to see? You want to see that if I am investing today, whether over the project period, over the life period of the asset, I can get back my money. How to decide? So profit over the years will tell you how much you are getting over the years and your present investment. You compare these two, then you think of whether to go ahead with the project. So 0 year you are investing, true or not? In the 0th year, this year you are investing, but you are getting profit
Yes,
over a period of time. And this profit together, the cumulative figure, if that is more than this figure, okay, so then only you will think of accepting the project. True or not?
yes, sir.
Yes.
Remember, your capital budgeting, the business that you are going to start, it is never told as a business. It is always told as a project. Reason being, it is futuristic in nature. You are talking of the future. That's why it is termed as project instead of, it is called a project instead of a business. Okay. When you are making the decision, you are making decision in the 0 year. You are talking of looking into a future, how it is happening in future. When you are taking decision, you are taking decision on this year, and your analysis is also done in the 0 year. Before the plant has started, you are thinking of all those things, capital budgeting decisions. So that's why we call it is futuristic in nature, and it is a project, not a business. Now you tell me, when we are talking of, could you get me? Are you getting me?
yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now, so you know, we concluded that my profit over the project period should be more, and this profit is recurring, and my investment is one time. True or not? I invested one time in the beginning, and profit I will be getting over a period of time. So both the things should be compared. If one is more, the profit is more, then we can think of starting the business. Now, next question I am telling you. See, yes. When we are making an investment, what will be the shape of this investment? It will be, if it is a non-current asset. True or not? Because we first discussed. Getting me or not? When
Yes,
you
sir.
put money in a capital budgeting decision, it is a non-current asset. Investment is one time. Okay. I am comparing with a recurring figure, profit. What it is? It is revenue minus expenses. True or not? Somebody should answer yes. So revenue is revenue minus expenses is the profit. and I am taking the cumulative figure of this profit, and then I am deciding whether I should go ahead with it. Now tell me, this figure of non-current assets, which is, suppose I put an example in the form of a machinery. What it is? It is the sum of all the depreciation over the years. True or not? Think about it.
Yes, sir.
The value is the summation of all the depreciation over the years. How? I invest 100 crores here. Every, suppose for 5 years I have invested. Every year I am charging 20 crores depreciation. So first year 440. 40. 1 minute. कौन नहीं? नहीं. Allow me 5 minutes time. Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes. Sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Your friends.
Good morning. Hello.
Okay. So your non-current assets is the sum of the depreciation over the years.
Yes, sir.
Now, revenue minus expenses. In the expenses, are you including depreciation or not?
Yes, sir.
So here also depreciation included. So when I am comparing, so as sum of the non-current assets, I am comparing against your, say, these I am comparing against your revenue minus expenses. Am I not taking depreciation in both sides? Because this is sum of all depreciation, and expenses are also you are including depreciation.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So here In expenses also you are including depreciation. Now you see, when you are including depreciation here and depreciation here, does it is it comparable? I compare
No,
Abhik
sir.
against Abhik. Abhik with Abhik. How is it a good comparison? I should compare
sir.
Abhik with another by. So that's why. So we have got a duplicacy here, depreciation here and depreciation here also. So that's why what we do, we remove this depreciation from here. So revenue minus expense plus depreciation. So this side doesn't contain depreciation because it was deducted here. Again, I added up, it become nullified. And here I include the depreciation. Could you get it? The concept between behind this thing? I am now making a trade-off between non-current asset value or the machinery value in terms of a project cost. Sure.
Sir, what will we get by revenue minus expenses plus depreciation? What will we get, sir, by
That
doing
is profit. That is profit. We now only we
Okay,
talk
profit.
that over a period revenue minus expense is profit. You must be knowing it. So now only we talked that over a period of time the profit should justify my investment. True or not?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
So when my profit is justifying my investment, so what is this profit? Profit is revenue minus expense. What you are doing? So in the beginning, I taught you statement of profit and loss balance sheet for that reason. Profit, is it not revenue minus expense?
Yes, sir.
Where is the
Yes,
doubt? So I am comparing this revenue minus expenses against your investment or value of asset. Value of asset or non-current asset, let me write down here. Another place. So your asset value in the form of project cost. This is equal to summation of the depreciation over the asset life. True or not? Tell.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
I am comparing a stream of profit over the project life. So a cumulative figure of profit. So what it is? Profit is revenue minus expenses. These expenses, it also include depreciation. So what I am doing? I am making a wrong comparison because depreciation here and also depreciation here. So what I do? I will remove this depreciation from this side. I'll remove this depreciation. How I can remove? Is revenue minus expenses plus depreciation. Is it clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Anybody having any doubt? Somebody should tell why I am removing depreciation from one side. So here I am. You may say I am adding. Why you are telling you are removing? In expense I have deducted. It is minus depreciation was here. Again I make plus here, so that's why it becomes 0. Come on, somebody should explain why I am removing depreciation from one side. Nobody? Let me tell who will try.
We are comparing the cumulative depreciation of the asset over the year with the profit. In profit, what we do? We include revenue minus expenses. And in expenses, we have already added the depreciation part. So the comparison can be done properly. That's why we add up the depreciation to make it neutral. By this, the depreciation part can be compared with the over the year.
Good, good. So this figure is called cash flow. Okay. This figure is called project cost. So I compare this against this. Another reason is why I am adding up depreciation here. You see, in the beginning, when you have purchased the asset, you have paid for it. But during the life of the asset, are you paying anything?
No,
Getting
sir.
me?
No,
You
sir.
are not paying. You are not. So depreciation is only allocation. So to avoid this anomaly, what I am doing, I am putting the add. So depreciation is a non-cash expense. So that's why not necessarily depreciation, any other non-cash expense that is there in the income statement of profit and loss, you will have to add it up to find the cash flow. Project cost should be compared against the cash flow. Could you get the concept of cash flow?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we are not comparing with the profit, we are comparing with cash flow. You see, there are certain methods where you compare with profit, but now first you understand what is the concept of cash flow. Okay. Okay, next. I'm writing it again. That will be good. Can you see the blank sheet?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I wrote here project cost, or value of asset compared with cash flow or revenue minus expenses plus depreciation. Done. Now you tell me, suppose I purchase one asset, its life period is 20 years. Life is 20 years. Then I arrange finance for this asset, either maybe from equity or from debt. Say I am planning to pay off the equity in 15 years. Which one will be the project period? Life of the asset or the time period in when you are paying of the or planning to pay complete the payment?
So life of
Finance will be available.
asset.
Finance will be available up to that period of time.
Project
Just think over which one will be project period among these two.
Sir, 15 years.
So you see, generally you see financing, the mechanism of financing, to the extent you are thinking that this product will remain. Say we are talking of one product in say, let us talk of a charge chrome plant. For 6 years, the charge chrome plant will be operating in full capacity. So after that, what will happen? Maybe the plant is useful, but you are not considering because you don't consider that the kind of revenue it will be generating will be justifying your continuing in the plant. But there is a plant at the end. Are you getting me? So two things we are talking of. One is where from you are financing. Number two is how far this project is useful to you. But that doesn't mean that the project life period is over. Project life period may remain for another few years. So then what you will do? Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, sir.
So then what you will do? So after the 15 years, you started with 0 year, you are deciding on this year, you are estimating or projecting for 15 years. Asset may remain another 5 years up to 20 years. On this debt, after 15 years, you have a value of asset. It is not that it is worthless. So that value is called terminal value or scrap value. True or not? No answer.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
these values should be considered or not in your decision making.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So which side I will put it? So you have got two sides. This is one side. Sorry. This is one side and this is one side. Which side I will put this one? Tell.
Sir, cash flow on the right side, sir.
So you will put here plus terminal value. So this amount which you are writing here, this is which is coming to you. This amount which you are investing, it is going out of your hand. So this one is called cash inflow. This one is called cash outflow. So when we will accept the project? When cash inflow is more than the cash outflow. Could you get it?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So I have a project. My project cost is the value of the asset. In the inflow part, I have got depreciation, cash inflow from my revenue, and also a terminal value. These two things I will consider, then I will compare it. Is it so easy? So you told it is complex, but you have made it so easy. Okay. Now next is, so this is the timeline. Say my project period is on 0 year. I am making a decision on 15th year. My project period, asset life period is 20 years. I have the terminal value here. Every year, year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 years I am getting profit. Every year I have a cash flow, cash inflow. Say I put 10, 5, 7, 11. It may not be uniform. 20, 23. So what you are doing? You are, all those figures that I am putting here, you are making a projection. It is not real figures. Say 16, 14, 10, 9, suppose. So these are projections. This side, asset value, it is an estimation. Estimation means you have taken quotation, you have gone to the manufacturer and asked them, give a quotation, what is the price of the product, you are taking competitive quotations, you are thinking of a second-hand plant, means again we are negotiating with the different people. So it is more or less with accuracy you can predict it. And here my intention should be, I will try to predict it as accurate as possible. Okay? Are you getting me? The terminal value, projection during the 15 years, asset value. These three things will lead to acceptance or rejection of my capital budgeting project, capital budgeting decision. Now tell me, 10 crores here. I received 10 crores here. Which one will prefer?
Which one is what, sir?
Which one you will prefer, year 1 or year 14?
Sir, year 14, sir.
Year 14 will prefer. Why? 10 crores
Sir,
you will
because
get after 10 crores you will get after 14 years. 10 crores you will get today. Which
Sir,
one will
year
prefer?
1.
Yes, sir. For year 1.
Year 1 figure will prefer. Why? Why? Already you have studied.
The time value of money.
Time value of money. Okay. So you have a time value of money. So that's why you will prefer year 1. Now, when I am taking the decision, I am taking the decision 0. That means your 14 figure is lesser than your 1 figure.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes or
sir.
no? Or why you prefer? It is lesser than year 1. So what I will try to do on year 0, I will reduce everything to this level. True or not? Then the comparison becomes easier. What I am telling you, all those cash flow that I am getting over the years, they are in different years. So how they will bring it to a common platform so that you compare with the asset value? Only when you discount all those figures. Why I am discounting? Because there is a time value of money. As years are passing away, those figures are the figures, whatever I am getting at the end of the say 13, 14 years, that will be lesser in present time. So on 0 year, in order to compare, what I will do, I will reduce these figures to this level. That is called, because time value of money is there. So I will have to discount all those revenues to this level.
Discounting rate.
And then what I will do, I will compare this figure. True or not? So what is my final decision? So what is my net cash inflow? That is I put it as sigma n p, so C cash inflow, CI let me write 1 plus r to the power t plus terminal value divided by 1 plus r to the power n. N means it is 15. T means every year I'll have to take one figure, sigma I have put, minus the cash outlay. If it is positive, I go ahead the project. Could you get it?
Yes, sir.
So this is called, this method is called discounted cash flow technique. Discounted cash flow. And another one will be undiscounted, not very popular cash flow. So we'll discuss these methods in the next class. Or should we start today? How much time left? 30
Yes, sir.
minutes
Next
left.
class, sir.
Could you get the
Class
whole
next
thing? Capital budgeting, what we discussed, the nature of capital budgeting we discussed what is the trade-off. Then we discussed that why you should take cash flow. Then we discussed why you should discount it. The 3 basic concepts about cash flow we discussed. Okay. Okay, fine. Let me take the attendance for you. Section C.